So the holiday season has made things a bit wonky when it comes to the official Viz chapter reviews, where of course, given the delays, holiday delays, and order delays, things kind of do get bogged down. So the chapter did come out officially today, and apparently according to Viz, the next one is not coming out until January 22nd. So this will be the last chapter review for a while. We'll just do the usual on the main channel. Soon to come for the videos, the top 30 strongest characters in One Piece as of 2022, the end of 2022. So be on the lookout for that in the near future, without doubt. However, for this video, as per usual, we're going to break things down step by step and piece by piece with the three main components of the chapter. Number one, as per usual, the pace and chapter structure. Number two is the character components. And number three, the story progression components of this chapter. So let's get right into it. Number one, the pace and chapter structure. So this chapter has a total of 5 parts to it. Number one is the Red Port area, the base of the Red Line. We're following Kuma, number one. Number two is the Agate Island area, where we have the Labo phase monitor room, and then it's in conjunction with the Fabrio phase outside with CP0. Number three is a shift in focus inside the Labo phase and outside Labo phase, and we shift focus from outside to inside constantly. Number four is going to be the seas in the New World outside of El Balfa. I can't wait. Because Usopp is gonna be okay. And then number five is of course G14 Naval Base. But we'll get it soon enough. So overall, when it comes to the pace of the chapter, relatively good, honestly. Though the structure in the third section, where it's shifting back and forth, could be confusing to some, but ultimately speaking, it makes sense because we do have major parties on the move, plus shenanigans with Luffy and Bonnie, then Bonnie and Vegapunk, and then there is a time skip forward somewhere in there because when Luffy arrives with his clique, and we have Sanji, his clique meet up with Luffy's clique, well, where's Bonnie? So things happen, obviously off screen. And all the while, Kaku and Zoro are fighting each other, and Stussy and Rob Lucci are probably already infiltrated somewhere in the lab, most likely. So that being said, outside of the structure of, let's say, section 3, the pace of this chapter, once again, I think is good. Now, the character components for this chapter. A little bit light, it is what it is. But there are a few things that could gander from this chapter for character. Number one is Rob Gooch. So like we talked about last chapter, it's confirmed essentially here in this chapter, where Rob Lucci is too emotional and invested with one of his, let's say, quote, arch nemesis, end quote, Monkey D. Luffy. And Lucci will defy Navy orders, and he does not recognize Luffy as an emperor. Max copium.
It's not true. That's impossible.
However, this is a character component that continues to show for Rob Gucci, because Rob Gucci is breaking protocols, and he normally never does. After Rob Gooch is Lilith. Real quick here, she does not hesitate to join a fight if she can. Very combative, like actual combat heavy. But then in comes Shaka, next her character, where Shaka has a very strong sense of duty, which also comes with a willingness to sacrifice his own body, and if need be, the bodies of the other satellite bodies, to guarantee the safety of the Stella body. So the good nature of Shaka, and then on the opposite side, the evil nature of Lilith, which is why we're seeing now more and more that Shaka and Lilith, given their emotional proclivities, they absolutely do not like each other at all. They bicker constantly, kind of like Zoro and Sanji, or Luffy, Law, and Kid. Some of that sort. After that, Dr. Vegapunk. Vegapunk, shameless. When it comes to prioritizing his life, which of course, likely I would say, comes from the vast knowledge that he holds in his cranium, and knowing that if he dies, a vast quantity of knowledge, Lopez style, is gone. That could benefit humanity for centuries, millennia to come. Therefore, save me / us, because it seems like he wants to bring all of SSG on the Straw Hat ship. So we'll get to that soon enough. And then last character is going to be Kaku. So Kaku makes a pretty large Sky Slicer storm leg, Rankaku. It's pretty big to where it would cut the ship and also some of the Vega Force 1 as well. This is the same attack that he used to cut the entire Tower of Justice back at NA's lobby. And it's also the same move he used to try and combat Zoro's Ashura. And that was a superior, more focused version of the breakdancing giraffe version. So this appears to be like the same version of attack that he tried to take down Zoro with. Probably stronger, and he's doing this in base form. Not in giraffe form or hybrid form, in base form. So this does showcase for sure Kaku's improved combat skills over the course of 2 years. And also, it does make sense here that it will be a storm leg that Kaku is improving upon the most, because Kaku, among the CP9 members, was the, according to him, he was the most proficient at using storm leg. For character real quick, Stussy. Stussy can use Skywalk up into that area of the island, and it is a pretty large distance, so it does showcase in some minor ways so far that she is capable when it comes to her 6-power martial arts skills. So that's it for character. Overall, it's light. It's not necessarily much. The most important character for a character in this chapter, I would argue, is Kaku, and that's that. So here we are, the story progression components for this chapter. Number uno, Kuma. Obviously, Kuma is flying across paradise, rams straight into the red line itself, specifically in the red port area, makes a big explosion. And as the people in the port are trying to sort out what's going on, Kuma looks upwards and it appears that it's going like towards the Holy Land. Now, it could be the idea of still going where Bonnie is, so the Holy Land is not its destination. But if it is, that brings up a whole new set of questions. Because obviously, recently, we got intel about this giant robot 200 years ago that also went to the Holy Land. As far as we know, Monkey D. Dragon did not give Kuma any sort of order. In fact, he was like, Kuma, where are you going? What's going on? This could be a Vegapunk move, but that kind of seems unlikely. So basically, we don't know. But what's also intriguing is seeing Kuma fly across like the Grand Line. We have no idea how fast Kuma could travel across the planet when they're flying. It could be the case here that when Kuma sends someone flying, it takes them longer, but for him, it's much, much, much quicker. Now after this, we cut back to Agate Island. What is this number? The number on the Frontier Dome is now at 100 in this chapter, and previously it was at 72. Now after all this, when SSG is trying to figure out like what to do when it comes to their plan of action, Vegapunk makes a call to an unknown individual. And this individual has apparently been waiting for Vegapunk's orders for something of this sort. And Edison notes to how as long as they can avoid CP0, even though all their ships are destroyed, they can easily escape the island with this person's assistance. Where this person is, not too sure at all. There are so many options, like there's crazy theories, like this could be the real, quote, real Bartholomew Kuma, where if Vegapunk can separate his brain from his body and make, let's say, the other Vegapunks, why can't he, let's say, take Kuma's brain, move it to another body? This is the, quote, real Kuma that's coming to save them. Or it could be as simple as it's Smoker-kun. And Smoker-kun has actually defected. That's why we didn't see Smoker with Tashigi in 1061. Maybe Smoker is actually about to join the Revolutionary Army. Defect the same way Kuzan did, and Kuzan and Smoker did have a heart-to-heart back on Punk Hazard. So one has to wonder. It could be complex, or it could be pretty simple. It could be a whole new character. We have no idea. We have no idea. However, there are two hiccups. Number one is pretty immediate. Out of nowhere, the Labo Phase defense system, the Frontier Dome, deactivates. So the number 100 on the side of it now goes to 0. So it at least 000 means it's deactive. What do 100 mean? No idea. No idea. But again, Zero, it's deactive, it's done, which allows Rob Gucci, Stussy, and Kaku to infiltrate. Now, what, who, how does Frontier Dome go down? Of course, not too sure. But remember, somewhere slithering on Egghead Island is our good old boy, Caribou. I don't think Caribou was a fan of the way Zoro treated him in 1065. No. So Caribou, by accident probably, did some crazy, weird, funky stuff, and then poop, down goes the Frontier Dome. Maybe. It could be the same person that they contacted to help him escape, and they would need the Frontier Dome down so you can actually go in there to help the Vegapunks. But the satellite bodies are very confused as to how the Frontier Dome went down in the first place. And even Stussy has a question mark text bubble when Rob Bellucci is being very cautious. So even she doesn't necessarily know what's going on, and she knows clearly a lot about Vegapunk and Egghead Island. But nonetheless, they enter in and they try to destroy the Vega Force 1 plus the Sunny Go. However, Zoro shuts down Kaku. And Zoro and Kaku meet in the same fashion that they did in all the way back in chapter 326. Yo, it's been that long ago. And this time around, no games. Even though back then, Zoro's confused. Hold on, is that Usopp? No. Who are you? Knows a square. This time around, he knows the drill. And unfortunately, Kaku did aggressively ruin his nap. Last time, we were chill. This time Zoro has to once again engage in combat with this African animal.
What do you mean by that?
Where's Dr. Umar Johnson when you need him?
I built the whole plan. I ain't going nowhere.
Engage in combat once again with this African animal and let him know his place. In fact, may have to endanger the whole species. He lost a few hours of sleep. No good.
That's no good.
The satellite bodies are trying to figure out what's going on. The Frontier Dome is back online. Lilith is like ready to has some sort of like weird Buzz Lightyear laser cannon gun thingy and is ready to fight. And then all the while, Luffy and company finally meet up with Sanji company. However, Bonnie is chasing down Vegapunk, and she wants her father restored back to normal. And Vegapunk says he can't do it, but it's for a good reason. What the reason is, we will find out soon enough. So there is a lot going on when it comes to story progression in this chapter, because there's so many jumps. It's like every page is like a leap forward in the story, which every page kind of needs its own like little focus here. And that includes the next page. We jump to Eustace Captain Kidd, Elbaf. And we actually off the rip here that Elbaf is kind of crazy, where it's a regular fish, but the regular fish is like the size of Kid's ship. And Kid's ship is bigger than the Sunny Go. And the Sunny Go is like 60 meters tall, yo. Yeah, no. So these fish, huge. And a lot of new islands and territories, the animals of those islands and countries, they actually adjust to those environments. And Elbaf is no exception to that rule. It looks like everything is going to be upscaled to an absurd degree when we get there. The main characters may just enter a Bug's Life movie. Every environment comes a whole new set of unique creatures. And Elbaf, size, baby. Size matters. Size matters. And Kid is going there probably because he wants to meet Saw. That's most likely. The idea that we got in chapter 1056 was the person with the burned scar, and the idea is that the burned scar wasn't heat related, it was ice related. It was ice burn.
Ice burn.
And then finally, Garp apparently wants to go to full of Lead Island. Look, I know a lot of folks really want Garp to just kind of one-man army, one-ship army, the entire thing, run in there, beat the living piss out of the entire Blackbeard pirate army, and then save Kobe and then dash away into the sunset. Is that likely? Listen, I would argue that Garp is probably going to be doing what Luffy and the crew tried to do with Sanji. Sneak in, get out. That's probably the best bet here because it's most likely the case here that they are aware that BB and Law are on Winter Island. So, as he's distracted, let's get in there, let's get Kobe, and let's get the hell out. That's probably the safest bet here. One of the things that Prince Goose alluded to in 1061 was the idea of the sheer amount of men that exist on that island. And it would be foolish to actually raid that island. Even with Seraphim, it'd be too reckless. And we clearly saw during Wano Country how much the number of men mattered, despite the fact that there are several Conquer Haki users on that island. So I'd apply that same logic here, where let's say if Garp does a Conqueror's Haki, there'll be just so many pirates, it would be insane to try and go in there with so few men without a proper game plan. Garp he's a wild dude. Fair enough. He's the grandpa at 72 that wants to go skydiving. Great. You have to go skydiving with the parachute. And you have to quintuple check the parachute to make sure everything's okay. So it's not gonna, let's say, get stuck when you're in midair and you're gonna go splat. Okay? So I'm betting that Garp has some sort of plan here and not, hey, let's just wing it. Let's just go. You know what I'm saying? Man, let's just do it, dude. I mean, just, oh, Blackbeard, let's just do it, baby. Yeah. No. It's not yeah. It's just big. No. So that's my bet. Because right now, most of their boys are going to be going where? To Egghead Island because of Kizaru's orders to give me as many troops, ships as possible. So we're going to find later this month how things are going to roll. This is going to be crazy, obviously, but Garp is on the move and folks are excited, as am I. But let's not go
stupid.
So my overall take on this chapter, character, again, the character is like, whatever. The pacing and structure were fine, not necessarily that great, but the story is definitely there. The story progression is for damn sure. Definitely in this chapter. For Egghead Island, it's progression, true, but outside of that, it's also setup. We're setting up Kid in Albath. We're setting up Garp on Bullhead Island, hopefully to do something or to even get captured. We'll have to see how the future holds. It is what it is. And of course, we have Vegapunk on the run from Bonnie, which would probably mean that they run into something or someone and get in trouble, or there's more depth as to what happened with Kuma in the process. But again, we'll have to see how things play out. Things are heating up. And overall, this chapter, I'm going to give it a nice 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah.